One. Hey everyone, Evan Kirstel here. Today we have Fusion Connect, a company we're going to dive in deep into the world of unified communications and collaboration. And Terry Corder. Terry, how are you?
I'm good, Evan. How are you today?
I'm great. You're in the beautiful city of Louisville. How's we spring yet in Louisville? How's the weather down south?
It thought it was spring for a few minutes, but waited a day and it changed. So it's been pretty cool over the last few days. But I think we're going to come out of it here soon.
All right. Well, we'll wait for that. In the meantime, let's talk about Fusion Connect. I love your tagline, enabling you to connect, protect, and communicate. Where did that come from? It's pretty catchy.
Yeah, it's all about the fact that we're trying to help our clients connect to the people they do business with. So when a lot of people think about connect, they think about, oh, well, it's connecting to the internet or connecting to locations. It's really about connecting with people and connecting with the clients that you do business with, protecting that data. So protecting it from a security aspect, and then also primarily protecting it for redundancy. If I don't have two circuit, or if I don't have the ability to do business and not lose my business, it's not very protected. And then just help them communicate and do business together, accelerate how they do business.
Well, that's a great mission. I love how you talk about an MSP like yourself as a force multiplier for in-house teams. You can't get enough in-house resources these days in IT. It's a real challenge. So how does that work exactly?
So many times we see that organizations, IT is a cost center versus they're not bringing money in the eyes of the
Mhm.
overall organization. So larger companies tend to run very IT lean. And here at Fusion Connect, we're able to help them become a force multiplier. So they may have 3 or 4 people, and we can help them operate by managing their SD-WAN environment, managing their Microsoft Teams environment, their voice calling in any structure, um, and help them just where they're 3 or 4 people seem like 30 or 40, because we do have a large team of engineers, support people. We monitor and make sure everything stays up and running for them. So if you don't have that number of people to do that, let somebody else do it for you.
Yeah, I love the mission. And you talk about 100% uptime. Wow. In the old days, we used to talk about 5 nines on the phone network. And of course,
Yeah.
you're doing a lot more than calling, although it's one of the many services, managed services you offer. Let's geek out a little bit. How do you achieve that kind of availability and reliability?
Sure. So our 100% uptime guarantee is not just words. It is actually written into every contract that we have. So a
Holy
lot of
cow.
people, it's a marketing thing. Oh, 100% uptime guarantee. Yeah, 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 we'll get you there. We write it in our contracts. So it affects our UCAS environment and our SD-WAN environment. It lets us put customers on an environment that has business continuity. So say I'm solutioning a Microsoft Teams deal for you. You use Microsoft Teams day in and day out, and we've all had Microsoft Teams or other platforms affect our uptime. So we
Hmm.
have the ability, because we are a carrier and we can route our phone numbers anywhere in the world to any other platform, and we run multiple platforms. If Microsoft Teams were down or Cisco WebEx were down, we actually can deliver calls still to that client through other means and other platforms. Same thing with their network. If we put in a high availability SD-WAN solution, bring in multiple circuits, we give multiple layers of redundancy so that that client can say, my network's never going to go down. If it does, it's on us. We will give you money back for your account if we give you that 100% uptime guarantee. Outside of that, with the UCAS, we guarantee we can deliver calls to you 100% of the time. So we design it right. We design it for them to have that uptime guarantee, and I think it's a big differentiator.
Oh, that's fantastic. And this doesn't extend just to voice. You do 24/7 monitoring for security, cybersecurity. We got RSA this week, the big security event, which is always a little scary to get a
Oh
real
yeah.
update on the threat of ransomware and beyond. When did you decide to integrate that into your managed services offering?
So our 24/7 monitoring and our threats, our SD-WAN specifically with our unified threat management solution has that 24/7 monitoring. We watch for issues that may come across security vulnerabilities. We make sure we update. We make sure we're always using the right solution. You may not be, unless it's a security issue, we make sure you're on the most stable firmware and security aspects. And then when a security vulnerability comes out, we make sure to get that implemented very, very quickly.
Wow. So you can sleep well at night. That's always a goal with
Try
a
to.
managed services provider. Um,
And we want our
so tell
clients to
us,
sleep well at night. That's the
oh,
biggest
well,
thing.
that's a good mission. Yeah.
Me being able to sleep well is one thing. I want them to be able to sleep well.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk about Microsoft. You're deep in the Microsoft ecosystem. It's a little confusing from the outside in, all the various Microsoft services and bundles and packages, especially when it comes to calling. There's a lot of new capabilities. There's Direct Connect. There's all these options. Maybe you can kind of guide us through, navigate through the Microsoft landscape here from a managed services standpoint.
Sure. I've actually got a slide for that if you mind. Thank you. So the calling services for Microsoft Teams, Microsoft really started with their own in-system calling, which was a very
Yeah.
basic calling solution. They gave you the ability to call, but it didn't have feature and function that was in the realm of a true business phone solution. It
We
gave
all
them
remember
a,
Link. Yes. Yes. And
yeah, you remember
Office. Yeah.
Link, and then they
Yeah.
went to
Yeah.
Skype, and then they went to their basic calling within Microsoft Teams. Once they opened it up to carriers, the first thing they opened is called direct routing. And what direct routing allowed you to do is a carrier like ourselves could provide dial tone back to Microsoft Teams, and we could make it where people could place and receive calls. But direct routing doesn't provide you a service level agreement between us, the carrier, and Microsoft, or you, the customer, and Microsoft. So it's best effort on those connections. So us as a carrier, hey, we've made sure everything, the calling is good all the way up to where we hand it to Microsoft. But once it gets to Microsoft, it's up to them to get it through their network. That's what direct routing was. The evolution of that, and everything had to be done via command line scripting. So you had to use PowerShell scripting to turn everything up. You had to be a programmer. With Operator Connect, Microsoft has opened up the environment to allow carriers like ourselves to get certified with them. We now have a shared SLA with Microsoft. So if you have, as a customer, have an issue with a calling problem, a calling issue, you come to us. We will resolve it between us and Microsoft and get you back up or correct the voice quality, whatever issue you may have. It's a two-way shared service level because Microsoft requires that we stay at a certain quality on our handoff, and we are handing off to their edge equipment, their SBCs in the network. So it's a two-way road. The other thing is Operator Connect gave a GUI, a graphical user interface in the Microsoft Teams portal. Plus, here at Fusion Connect, we have our own intermediary that added some additional features and functions to that. But it lets people not have to be programmers anymore. The average company can go out and use Microsoft Teams as a business solution now with a provider like ourselves that offers Operator Connect. If it's just a direct routing, you have to have that kind of intermediary person that knows how to do PowerShell scripting, or you have to rely on your carrier to do it for you. With Operator Connect, they gave the tools to us, and then we've enhanced those to provide back to our clients to let them really do a lot on that solution.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. Um,
It is.
So let's talk about some of the other services as well. SD-WAN is, all the rage. How is yours maybe different from or better than maybe some of the other offers that are out there? Is it all about the bundling of services?
It is. It's about stocking services, and we also do what we call land and expand. We want to help get you on board quickly. We want to land with you and find the right solutions for you. And then we want to expand and help you continue to evolve and make those solutions better. So, say I land with something quickly like a Microsoft Teams, I can then expand that to help you ensure your network quality, ensure your reliability and redundancy by putting in an SD-WAN solution. So we use three of the top vendors in the world. If you've seen the Gartner Magic Quadrant, we all have. The top right corner is where everybody that you want to use is. We use VeloCloud, we use Cisco Meraki, and the one that we use often is Fortinet. So Fortinet is a firewall that was built for security and then enhanced and had those SD-WAN features that fail over that redundancy added to it. And we have a network. We actually built our Fortinet deployment so that we can prioritize data all the way back to our core backbone network and give a seamless failover, like a lot of customers have seen with someone like a VeloCloud, but give it with that enhanced security that a Fortinet provides.
Wow, nothing like tying together best of breed technologies into one unified offer. That's seems to me the name of the game these days. So
Yeah.
you've been with Fusion for what, 12 years? I see on your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, 12 depends on how you read it. Officially 12 years. Actually, the company I was with prior to that was acquired by one of the companies that became Fusion. So technically it's 18. So I've been here a
Wow.
long time. Yeah.
So
I've been
you,
in the industry for 30, but I've been in with Fusion or one of its subsidiary companies for almost 18 years.
what's changed the most in this business beyond the tech, which is obviously every 6 months, is updating and enhanced and refreshing. But what's different about the last few years, maybe, than when you started? What do you notice
Sure.
most?
So we've heard everything comes and goes cyclically. So I think the thing that's different now is, of course, and it's the thing that we've all been talking about for the past 3 years, is when the pandemic hit, everybody before the pandemic was premise, premise, premise. So you were worried about your SD-WAN at your corporate. You were worried
Hmm.
about securing zero touch, zero trust solutions, which absolutely, those are all very important still. The pandemic hit and everybody's like, let's just get it to work. Let's get it to work at home. Let's make it work quickly. So everybody did that. They put band-aids on stuff. They made it work right now. So today we're going back to what was before that, which is the UCAS, and we got that UCAS working quickly. Now it's going back to those clients that put things in quickly and saying, hey, you did it right now. Let's do it right now. So we want to go do it right. We want to fix the things that we put in quickly. We want to make sure you put in the security needs that you had. We want to make sure that you implemented the right solution for you. It's been about 3 years since the start of the pandemic. So a lot of the things that people put in quickly, it's now time to evaluate. Did we put in the right thing? Did we put them in correctly? Help them find that. And now we've also seen that it is a very remote world, but there are people that do not want to work remote or companies that do not function as efficiently remote. And they are going back into the office. So it's reintroducing, hey, we didn't stop, but clients stopped focusing on that edge security when they went to all remote. Now it's going back to say it's a hybrid model now. So we went like this. And now we're back to the point where let's make sure that your environment is good and secure. Let's make sure it's redundant. And let's make sure that the things you put in quickly are now, they were the right thing. And if they weren't, let's put in the right thing going forward.
Oh, fantastic approach. I love the idea of a trusted advisor. It's so often now vendors are just pushing, boxes or licenses or technology, which is great. I'm a techie and a geek. I love all that stuff, but
Yeah, me too.
you need a really consultative approach these days because things are just so disruptive and change is everywhere. So you're in Louisville. You got headquarters in Atlanta. So do you serve other countries and regions?
We do. We
Oh,
are
wow.
actually in today 16 countries,
Wow.
and
Okay.
in the next 2 to 3 months, we will expand that another 7 countries, and then we will continue to expand that through the year. So, with Microsoft Teams, we find that a lot of businesses in the upper middle to enterprise industry do have remote locations. They are international. Our Operator Connect deployment is certified with Microsoft throughout all of the 16 countries we've done. So, US, of course, Canada, Mexico, most of Western Europe. So, the UK, France, Germany, all of the countries there. Um, we are expanding. We are working on Japan. We're working on Asia Pac. So, Australia, Malaysia, South Africa. We have a lot of countries there that we are in this next 7. And then beyond that, we really try to focus on the customer's needs. So when a customer comes to us and says, hey, I have these 30 locations, you cover 20 or 25 of them. These other 5 locations I really need assistance in, and they're in these countries. We will actually take that and work with them to come up with the right solution, and we will reprioritize some of the countries we're working on to help clients be able to do good business.
That's a great mission. So we were both at Enterprise Connect a few weeks back.
We are.
It was really, I thought it was a great event, a lot of energy,
Yes, it was.
enthusiasm, a lot of in-person networking. Any big takeaways or lessons learned there? Anything else you'd like to share now that we've had a few weeks to reflect on the event?
Um, I think it was a great event. I think some of the clients that we met while we were out there, um, they really are starting to do that evaluation. They're starting to decide, are the things I put in the right things to have put in? It is now time that companies are looking back into themselves and looking into the investments they've made over the last 3 years to say, were these the right investments or were they made very, very quickly? So we talked to a lot of companies about the fact that they would put in something that was able to do video communication and conferences, but maybe it didn't integrate all of their messaging, all of their different things that they use day to day with their employees. So they had employees that were using 2 and 3 applications on their desktop because they didn't know that one application would do all of the different things. They just put in the buzzword and they put them in quickly. So today they're going back and looking at that saying, you mean this product, as an example, Microsoft Teams, that I already pay for because I use Office 365, it can be my full UCAS solution. It can do all of my calling. It can do my call center stuff, which would be something integrated with it, which we can
Mhm.
also provide. But all of those features and functions, we're now able to tell them, yes, and here's how you get there, because they're no longer in panic mode. They are now in review and revision mode to make sure they made those right decisions.
Oh, that's awesome. So as we wrap up here, what are you looking forward to most over the next weeks, months? Any travel, any business or personal travel coming up that's
Yeah.
of interest?
Actually, no personal travel, but being in Kentucky and living just outside of Louisville, week from Saturday is there's a little horse race. So the Kentucky Derby is a week from Saturday, so that'll be a big
Of
thing.
course.
And
Okay,
then
do you have any tips for us? Any betting tips that you offline? We'll take it offline.
we'll take it offline. Yeah, because I haven't done my handicapping yet. But no, next week I will actually be out at Channel Partners, and the
Right.
MSP Summit. So look forward to any of your listeners that happen to be out there. Please look us up. We have a booth set up there. I've also got a conference room where I'll be doing meetings, doing a few different speaking engagements while I'm there. So excited to talk to people and help them find the right overall solution. So if they're there, come see us. If they're not, reach out to us. Evan has all of our information and can get us in touch. So I just look forward to doing that and seeing how the racing goes next weekend.
Oh, that's going to be so fun. And finally, before you go, as a true Kentucky local, any bourbon recommendations? We all know the big brands, but any really good local distilleries that us you insiders don't tell about the tourists.
For a go-to, just a regular, I'm going to
Yeah.
mix it with something. The Bullet Distillery makes a
Okay.
good, solid, regular product. If you want something unique and something
Yeah,
really,
something
really good,
different, something really
um,
interesting.
Artesian Distilleries is
Okay.
they make Jefferson's and Jefferson's Reserve bourbon. The Reserve and the Jefferson Ocean. If you're not familiar with the Jefferson Ocean story, go look it up. It's a really neat story about bourbon going out on some research vessels and going around 9 months in the ocean and how it affects the aging of it. So those are the
Wow.
things to think about.
That is
It's really
intriguing.
neat. So
I'm
yeah,
going to Google that right after the show. But thanks so much, Terry. Thanks for joining, sharing your insights and inspiration. And good luck next week in Vegas. Don't lose too
thank you
much
very
money.
much.
To try
Yeah,
to
it
keep
is
your
in
wallet
Vegas.
to yourself. Okay.
So
Bye, everyone.